5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. All engine running. Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
Hello and welcome everyone to Truth, Beer, and Podsequences. Yay! Yay indeed, Julia. Yay indeed. This is a podcast where my co-hosts and I listen to and watch all the Cincinnati-based and read, depending on, what's going on, all the Cincinnati-based craft beer content from the previous week. We get together to podcast hosts, and today we are back at Higher Gravity Summit Park. Thank you, Higher Gravity, for being a gracious podcast host. Now, hopefully there aren't too many consequences from the hosts of the other podcasts and media.
We've got a little iffy.
Yeah, a little iffy.
But,
iffy.
Mostly all right.
Mostly okay.
We're almost through 2024,
Yep.
Almost completely unscathed.
Almost.
Yes.
We take away some of the self-inflicted stuff. We're mostly unscathed. My name is Marco. I'm a taproom manager here locally. I used to brew beer for several years in the Cincinnati area, and that other voice you heard belongs to the best co-host in Podcastlandia.
I am Julia, and besides drinking all the craft beer in the Cincinnati area and taking copious amounts of notes and putting together spreadsheets for our NFL Deathmatch Challenge. I also absolutely love listening to the podcast Your Stupid Opinions, because when James goes off on a rant about the quality of meat at McDonald's, he loses the ability to speak, and it is one of the greatest things
if you can
in
call
the
it
entire
meat.
world. Yes.
Yeah.
This latest episode, someone put in a review with a suggestion about how they could improve the quality of meat, James, he flipped his shit. It was amazing. I loved it.
I'd love to see. No, they're not going to try that. That was a dumb statement from that reviewer. But also, Julia, we are right in the middle, in the heart of Beervent season,
It's
and you
true.
are putting together some daily content for Beervent.
Yes, I am. I am posting it to the Truth Beer Pod Facebook page, and if you're a part of the Cincinnati Craft Beer Facebook group, it shows up there as well.
Yeah, it's been fantastic.
It's been very angry this year, or angrier, or just more stressed out this year.
It's
as
me.
was pointed out.
It's probably my fault.
It's mostly your fault.
Yeah,
but
that's what I figured.
But I would never admit that to you.
No, I know. You're too nice to do that. You're too nice to admit that. And I am enough.
You're self-aware enough to know,
I am self-aware
it's me.
enough to know, no, it's me. I get it. Look, we've been doing this for, 3 years?
3 issue, yeah.
Yeah,
3 years.
I get on
you
people's
got it.
nerves.
You got you. And we also have the best, potentially silent-ish producer here with us today. Producer Nick speaks
Producer
up
Nick
often, so he's
is
not
here.
the silent one.
Yeah.
But producer Josh,
Producer
my
Josh.
I am
Yes.
so happy.
Hello.
Hello, Josh. It's great to see you. I didn't expect to see you. It's great to see you. And I love when Josh is around to be on the podcast. I really, really do. I mean,
It's been a little while.
Yeah.
It's been a while.
Been a while. We have to find a way to talk about Narrow Path since you're on. Just because we always do.
I've not been to Narrow Path in quite a while.
It's been a bit, yeah. Well, we still have a little bit more of the intro to get through, but this is Kolsch night as we're recording this.
Kolsch night.
This show is going to be a little more rushed than normal, but we also don't have as many podcasts and media to talk about, so it's going to work out.
Yeah.
But we're going to go ahead, and I'll let you finish up whatever else you need to say, and then we're going to get this ball rolling.
So an amazing coincidence. Not only is it Kolsch night, it's my son Vincent's birthday.
Happy birthday,
Happy birthday,
Vincent.
Vincent. And so I am
Soda
going to
Crusher.
Soda Crusher. I'm going to skip out on Kolsch night, and we're all going to go hang out as a family and do whatever it is he's looking forward to doing.
We're going to party.
Yeah, we're going to party. And all the thoughts and opinions on this podcast are ours and ours alone. They do not reflect any entity which we may be affiliated with, such as full-time jobs, part-time jobs, third jobs, whatever it is. I'm speaking mostly for myself. Julia goes for her as well.
Yeah.
Josh, he can speak for himself. His thoughts and opinions can absolutely
Represent anyone and
represent anyone or any place or anything that
They
he would
represent me and me alone.
like. Okay,
There we
very
go.
good.
There we go.
Let's see. We're not like those other fake-ass podcasts that are out there. We
know who
actually
you are.
do have beverages when we record, and so, yeah, exactly. You know who you are, you fake-ass podcast. You do an hour and a half podcast, and you listen to it, and it sounds like, well, you guys are having iced tea or something like that. I mean, what? You ain't having craft beer. Get out of here. Julia, what? Actually, no. Let's start with Josh.
Yeah.
Guest. What you drinking?
I'm having a Scottish ale from Three Floyds. It's Robert the Bruce.
Yes.
It's a damn good one.
And
Excellent choice.
It's been had on this podcast a few times. It's really fantastic.
Solid beer.
Yeah, agreed. I am, and Danny, this is 100% for you. I am having a Saunders, Vanillas, Brobies, Porters, all the S's,
All the S's.
Saunders, Saunder Broby. It is absolutely phenomenal. I love this one. It's great. And Marco,
It's a good beer. You had it last week too, right?
Yeah, I did.
Yep.
I did. And I pronounced it correctly every single time I said it that way as well.
I am having a new one to the board.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm having Hop Slam from Bell's.
Fan-freaking-tastic.
Yeah.
All right.
It is.
Teach their own.
Yeah. It's not your thing.
It's fine. Yeah, it's just not for me, and that's okay.
Yeah.
I have Broby. You have Hop Slam. Josh has Robert the Bruce.
It's my thing, but I'm showing that I drink other things. So
Flexing your drinking muscles.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
All right.
All right, well, let's go ahead and just kind of cover what we're going to be covering. That was incredibly redundant and did not need to
It's
be.
all right. This
We
whole
have-
thing is redundancy.
This is true. We're just talking about things that have already been talked about, sometimes multiple times in a row.
Yeah.
redundantly.
Yes, yes. We have full episode recaps to do of this week's Barstool Perspective. We have the Yingle Yams International Podcast.
Jungle Yims.
And we have the Weekly Pint,
TWP.
the longest weekly pint in the history of forever.
You're welcome.
Yes, all thanks to Marco. And then I have a couple quick recaps I want to do of Beers and Beards Craft Parenting Pod
Thought it
and
was
Blake's Craft Beer Pod.
Beards and Beers.
Oh, I thought it was Bears and Beards. You know what? One of these
Bear
days.
Beats and Battlestar Galactica.
That's it.
That's it.
That's it. I
That's
just
the
had it written
one.
down completely wrong. I'm going to go ahead and just run over the quick recaps first. Get
Okay.
those out of the way
Just run over them.
with a truck. So the Beers and
truck.
Beards and Battlestar Galacticas. This is episode 165. Flights Across America. Author Joel Geyer. I think it's Geyer. I apologize. This has nothing to do with Cincinnati craft beer, but he is the author of a book all about his experience going to over 1,400 breweries across America. And so I thought it was absolutely worth a shout out.
Okay.
It was an absolutely fantastic interview. They had some great questions that Joel posed to the people who both work at and brew at, and even customers of the breweries that he visited, to try and see what makes drinking at breweries so fantastic. It was really, really interesting. I really liked it. And David is featured on page 154 of the book. So he was very excited
nice.
to talk about how he is featured. And you learn about the importance of notebooks when visiting breweries, which I believe Gnome would 100% agree with. And I will put a link to where you can buy this book in our show notes.
You ought to also put a link to a notebook.
Oh, I can do that.
Yeah.
I'll find a good one on the Amazons or something. Put that there as well. So check out episode 165 of Beers and Beards, or however you want to say their podcast name. The next one that we're going to touch on, Craft Parenting Podcast. They're still doing an episode a day, both YouTube and podcast, for Beervent.
Yep.
That day's beer, the episodes come out the day after, so nothing is spoiled for you in case that's the only way that you're following up on Higher Gravity's Beervent calendar. They did something really, really weird to me.
It's a game
this last
changer.
one. It literally flipped the script.
Flipped the whole script.
Do we even mention what they did? Because I was shocked. I wasn't appalled, but it was just like, I don't know where to.
Right.
I don't know where to look.
Right.
Because it was bizarre.
They were inverted.
Yes. Instead of Joe and Caroline.
Josh liked that. The face he made. He's like, why did you put that image in my head?
So yeah, instead of it being Joe and Caroline, it is Caroline and Joe. And
Wow.
brilliant.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
Broke the internet.
Well, even the thumbnail, I'm like, wait a second, that doesn't look right. Like,
Yeah.
So Joe Caroline, phenomenal job of mixing it up.
Yeah.
That is great. And then the last one that we're just going to touch on quickly.
Second
is,
to last. Adam
Is there
makes-
another one after?
Adam makes beer.
Oh, my bad. I apologize. Second to last.
Well, we didn't
Blake's-
talk about it beforehand.
So, okay, that's why it wasn't in my notes.
Yeah.
My bad. Blake's Craft Beer Podcast, episode 41 of the Craft Beer Summit Part 2. This was his Dayton panel, which is why
Yeah.
we're not diving
The
into
Deuce.
it deeply. That didn't sound right either, but you know what? We're running with it. He talked with an amazing group of people from Warped Wing, Loose Ends Brewing, Crooked Handle Brewing, Heavier Than Air, and Hairless Hair. And the conversation was absolutely spectacular. A lot of very similar things that you hear about us talking about with the Cincinnati craft beer community is happening up in Dayton. All 4 of these episodes are going to be wonderful. I can't wait for the next 2 to come out. What you can take away from this episode of Blake's podcast is that no matter who you talk to, when you ask what 2024 has been as far as craft beer goes, the word crazy is, I think, the most used word in all the conversations.
Right.
Yes.
After an expletive.
Well, yes. But that'll come out in one of the later craft beer summit parts. Is it maybe the last one? I don't know.
Last one ever,
we'll find out.
maybe.
You never know. You'll never know.
You never know.
And then, Marky, you want to talk about Adam Makes
Well, I just
Beer?
want to mention that Adam Makes Beer had his weekly Q&A last week. So go and watch that. Adam's still creating a lot of content, doing a lot of work on social media and stuff. So, Adam, keep at it. Keep doing what you're doing. I really, really like the content. And yes, it can get kind of in the weeds, especially with the monthly Q&As, because it's really geared toward.
Is it in the weeds or it just gets very technical?
It just gets technical.
Kind of more,
it's not in the weeds. It's technical. It's to novice and skilled homebrewers all the way to pro brewer discussions, and those can get very in depth.
Yeah, agree.
So,
agree.
But he always takes a little bit of time to talk about himself and what he's working on, and he's always working on stuff.
Yeah. His content is absolutely fantastic. His video production, his social media posts, absolutely wonderful. So be sure to follow everything that Adam is doing out there. Done with the quick recaps? I say before we jump into the full recaps, we have a little deathmatch challenge going.
Oh, okay.
So we're going to bring in some Dawn Rock.
The Dawn
we are
of
also
Rock.
Going to try to call the Gnome at the same time and see what happens.
Buddy the Elf, what's your favorite color?
Yellow. What's yours?
Yellow.
I don't know. It was the first word that popped into my head. You caught me off guard. I didn't know what was happening.
It's a lame favorite color.
My actual favorite color is blue. Does that redeem me at all?
That's a little bit better. Mine is green,
Green's
which
a
is
good
way more
color.
Christmassy.
True, but you didn't ask what my. Well, it's fine.
What
It's
about
fine.
puce?
I did ask what your favorite color. That's exactly what I asked.
but I wasn't. But I
Buddy
was.
the
I
Elf,
didn't put any
what's your favorite
qualifiers
color?
on it. Yeah, that's fair. I should have known.
No.
So, Gnome, how are you doing?
Disappointed.
Disappointed, but you got a point. So
Yes,
how can
I did.
So how can you be disappointed? What are you
I'm
disappointed
going to keep
in?
getting points too. I'm going to keep getting points the
Yeah.
rest of the season.
Yeah. All right. Who are you picking this week then?
Who Dey? Bengals.
All right.
Is it even a question at this point?
No, but I still like to ask.
It's a
just in
solid
case,
pick, though,
just
because
in
they're going
case.
up against
Yeah.
the Browns, and the Browns just benched their quarterback.
Oh
so.
yeah.
I'm picking the Bengals all through the playoffs.
What
worked for you so
so wait
far.
a second. What if? Nope. You know what? I'm not even gonna speak that possibility.
Don't even- yeah.
No.
Why would you-
Because
why would you do that?
we are in the running. This is still freaking fantastic.
In the
Yes.
hunt.
We are in the hunt still. It could still happen, which would be how amazing of a Cinderella story would that be?
All we have to do is win everything and sabotage everybody else.
I'm in.
Okay.
I'm in.
It's the
Let's do
story
it.
of my life, though. Like,
All right.
right? Like you just
yeah.
win everything, sabotage everybody else.
Sounds good to me. Marco, who you picking?
I am going to take the Bills over the Patriots.
Oh, all
Because
right.
the Bills are
That's-
good and the
that's-
They
Patriots
are
suck.
they are doing absolutely fantastic. I am going to go with. I was thinking about doing the Bills, but I'm going to give that to you. I'm going the Lions this week because they are
All
also
right.
kicking a hell of a lot of ass.
I think that's a solid
They're-
pick. The
they're-
Lions over the
Even-
Bears, and the Bears suck.
Even after this week, because
Mm-hmm.
the Lions kind of disappointed me.
Yeah, but you know what? My biggest complaint about the Lions game this past week. At first, I liked the black uniforms that they were wearing, but then I kept confusing them with Carolina. I'm like, oh, I'm watching Carolina. Wait, no, I'm not.
Yep.
So I'm going, I don't know. Don't know if they can do that anymore.
Think they're going to match up in the Super Bowl?
I really want a Bills-Lions Super Bowl.
Yeah.
I want a Bengals Super Bowl. I want a Bengals Super Bowl.
Why would you put that out there?
But I don't know.
We're still in the running. We're still in the running.
I'm not a smart person. That's
In
why.
the hunt.
We are still in the running.
We absolutely are.
You know,
Bengals win the Super Bowl.
all you got to do is
This
get in the
it.
playoffs, because once you get in the playoffs, anyone can win.
True that.
Right.
Yeah.
That's right.
All right. Well, no, we're going to let you go so we can go ahead and wrap up.
I have a question.
Oh,
I have a question.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Favorite Christmas song?
Oh. Christmas Saves the Year by 21 Pilots.
I knew you were
I
going to
don't
say
even
a
know
21
that.
Pilots
So-
song.
Well, you'll have to
21
listen.
Pilots
you'll have to-
Christmas song. Okay.
Yeah, you'll have to listen to it
Okay.
before we get to Kolsch night.
Marco?
Oh, gosh. I don't know. Pentatonics
I feel like
version
you're-
of Mary Did You Know?
All right.
Okay. I was gonna peg you as a little drummer boy.
Gnome, how about you?
It's my nickname in high school.
Oh, my.
I was
Old Holy
because-
Night for me.
Okay. And we have an extra voice on the show this week. What is your favorite Christmas song?
I don't tolerate Christmas music.
Oh, there's another voice.
Yes.
Hello, Gnome.
Yes.
What's up? Do you get a football pick?
No, I just
told him
kind
he
of
was-
watch whatever Julia watches.
Yeah, I told him he was more than welcome to make a pick, and he was like, nope, it's all you. And I'm like, all right, that works. All right, so we will see you in a bit down at Northern Row for Kolsch night.
Yeah. Yeah.
Tell Molly we said hi.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Will do.
All right, we will talk to you later, sir.
Cheers, guys.
Cheers.
All right. And that wraps up this week's NFL Deathmatch Challenge picks. The score, our points aren't like super close, but it is still anyone's game.
It is still anyone's game.
It is still anyone's game, so we will have to see what happens.
The points got closer after this past week.
They really did.
Yeah.
Yes.
Also, I didn't see. I know that the post is up, our video, but did we?
No, I don't think we actually mentioned. We said that we were going to do a thing, and then we didn't mention.
Yeah.
In the beginning of this episode,
We
were
put out
doing
a video, everybody.
on YouTube.
It's got 9 views.
Hell yeah, that's like 8 more than we normally get.
Yeah, that's like all our Patreon times 3.
Yes. If you are wondering what alcoholic beverages to bring to your holiday events, be them white elephant parties or even going camping for Christmas, watch the video that we put out on YouTube, and we will answer all of your questions for you.
Yeah,
We even had Nick join us to talk about
we did.
wine because we know nothing about
It was great to have producer Nick
It was
on.
fantastic.
And we answered every single listener question that pertained to
There were like 20 of
that
them.
one.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It was
that
great.
pertained to that.
It was great. All right. What do you want to talk about first? Barstool Perspective, Jungle Gyms, or the Weekly Pint?
Let's talk about Jungle Gyms, since that came and went.
Yes. This was an episode that came out on December 10th, talking about Wandering Monsters doing a special pint night at Jungle Gyms Fairfield on December 13th, which by the time the episode, like you saw it and listened to it, the event was already gone. There may or may not even be bottles left for sale there. So I think the timing was a little weird. It might have just been a very last minute, hey, let's try to talk about this. But, you know, it is what it is. These things happen. It was Ferd from Jungle Gyms and Jason Brewer from Wandering Monsters.
Yep.
Wandering Monsters did some collaboration beers with Cycle Brewing from Florida.
Yep.
That they had up there, and they also did one special collaboration beer with Jungle Gyms. And when Mark Borison said, so what did we contribute to the Jungle Gyms collaboration? Nothing, just their name.
Yeah.
That's
They're
it.
just Jungle Gyms.
Just us.
Yeah.
It is all us.
That's like when this time of year, like when you're invited to a social gathering and you show up and you're like, hey, did you bring a gift? I'm like, I am here.
I am here.
I am the gift.
I am present, which is
Yeah.
my present to you.
Get it?
Absolutely. Talked a bit about what makes Wandering Monster special. Really, it's their space, the fact that they have a restaurant space, they have duck pin bowling, and they have a brewery space. So they kind of have 3 different segments of who they are that you can pick and choose what you want to participate in each and every time you go.
Yep.
They talked about how common are beer homages, because Wandering Monster makes a style that they're calling a Wisconsin ale, which is their representation of a wonderful beer from up in Wisconsin.
Yep.
Yep. They actually do, I don't feel like those happen a ton here in Cincinnati just because the beers that people want to re-represent in a way, it just, I don't know, they don't happen very often, or I feel like no one wants to try to act like they are as good as the original version. Or there's something.
There could be a little bit of
I
that.
feel like there's something that holds back a lot of Cincinnati breweries from doing beers that are representative of a former beer that used to exist in the city. But hey, when they happen,
Yeah.
we'll go for it. Confluence of Darkness. Wandering Monster is doing their first beer festival on February 22nd. It's a collaboration beer fest. So they brewed beers with a bunch of different places across the United States, and they're all going to be opening those bottles and have them on tap February 22nd. You can go to Wandering Monster's Facebook page and get all the details. I don't believe tickets are out yet, or they may be just released.
No, they're out.
Are they out now? Okay.
They're out, and Jason Brewer posted in one of the Facebook groups this afternoon that.
Okay, that I haven't checked. Okay.
About certain tickets are running low, or
right, VIP versus like regular, maybe
something
like that.
You
Okay,
know.
so check out the Wandering Monster Facebook page, their website, and get tickets to their very first beer fest because it's probably going to be awesome. They talked about babies for a bit in this episode.
Yeah. You ever drop a baby?
No, I've never dropped a baby.
Oh, okay.
And I've never passed a baby underneath of a horse in order to get into a beer festival, which Mark Borson says is required. Wandering Monsters, or more specifically, Jason was like, no, keep your
Laughing
baby.
at myself for
Keep
repeating
your
a
baby.
Jesselneck joke. You ever drop a baby?
Oh
No.
my goodness. And then I only had 2 other notes on this episode before the sip count. Because
That's all I
watched the
had.
Video. Jason is a nut guy. He can never get enough nuts in his hands.
Yep.
Which is, hey, we're on.
It's okay. You can raise your hand and just
Right.
admit.
I mean, I think everyone
nut
at the
guy.
table here, we're all dick people. I mean,
Yeah.
we got those dicks.
I am wearing
You
the
are
shirt.
wearing your dick shirt. It is fantastic. Looks great on you.
Boom.
Good color for you.
Yeah, thanks.
And if you listen or watch this episode, you can find out why Mark Borison is banned from 37 different Cincinnati parking lots.
He did admit. Yeah.
There were things that happened. Yes. Those are all again, this is going to be a little bit rushed, but we got other stuff we're doing. So ready to just jump into the sip count for this episode.
I have one pun.
Yes, sir.
Let's go.
I love your puns. You are, yes.
After that recap, you are no longer a wandering monster.
Oh. Because now we know.
Yeah. And
I like it.
no one's half the battle.
G.I. Joe.
That's right. The more you know.
I actually have 2 counts for this episode.
Oh, yeah?
I have a sip count
Okay.
between the 3 of them, Ferd, Jason, and Mark. They took 22 sips.
Okay.
But then I also watched it again to get a refreshing count.
Yes.
How many times did they say the word
Yes.
refreshing?
And there's a reason.
Yes.
If you go and watch, you'll find out the
Yes,
reason.
yes. 34-minute episode. They said refreshing 12 times.
Okay. So that's
12.
24 ounces.
So that's a total, when you combine the two,
The 44 and the 12.
30.
yeah.
Yeah. A total of 34 countables, which is 68 ounces or 4.25 pints.
Ooh, 35.
34 minutes. Yes.
34 minutes.
And if you do them all as stouts, because that's what Jason was promoting, you're probably gonna have a bad time.
Yeah.
You never know, but probably gonna have a bad time. All right, are we gonna move on to? Let's just go ahead and move on to Barstool Perspective.
Sounds
and then
good.
we'll wrap up with Weekly Pint because again, that was the longest episode in the history of the world.
Okay. Sounds good.
Barstool Perspective from December the 13th, 2024. This one happened later than what they were anticipating because Life, the Universe, and Everything. So
Drones.
Drones, more than likely the drones
Yeah.
kept them from doing their thing. Apparently, champagne can be drank from a martini glass.
Yeah.
Huge shout out to Mike for always introducing us to new ways to enjoy our favorite beverages.
That's right.
Yeah, although I did miss the schooner. It was a little sad not seeing that big old fishbowl sitting up.
It's
on
probably
the
still
bar.
dirty after I used it.
Probably. He's never getting that thing clean again. That's, let's see. The most searched drink terms of 2024. What is Hocktuad and what is a Sleepy Girl mocktail? To which both of those,
Yeah.
Mike's already holding his head in his hands. Like I've never heard
Yep.
any of these being said before, and I'm
Yep.
I'm a worse person now for having heard those terms.
Yeah. Like my ears are bleeding.
The Pope has started to white label whiskey.
That's interesting.
That was very interesting.
You know,
I mean, we know that the Catholic Church does anything and everything to make money that they don't have to pay taxes on, but white labeling whiskey from the Pope,
It's just so-
at the Vatican.
it's so weird. Did they do that with wine already?
I don't know.
Because there's communion wine.
So what I'm wondering is the Pope blessing all of these bottles? So is it holy? Like it contains water. So is it like a holy liquid? Can you use it to cast out demons?
I bet.
You know, I mean,
I bet. Give it to Russell Crowe. Find out.
If I drink some of that, am I going to burn from the inside?
No, I don't. No.
Probably.
No.
How popular do you think it'll be?
Wow. Jesus. Oh, shit.
Oh my God! I almost spit all over the board.
Wouldn't it be
Well
crazy
done.
if under
Well
those big hats that the arch deacon has, if it's just a bottle of bourbon that's signed?
It's what would it be? It wouldn't be like a ref or like Ratatouille, but it'd be like a mini brewer or a mini distiller or something just sitting up there, like driving him around.
You could even make the Pope hat clear and advertise
Yes.
the bottle.
Digital
Yeah.
signage going across the front of the Pope hat, the
Yeah.
pope-ular hat. I know that has a specific name. I just can't think of it right now.
I don't remember.
Don't know. Okay.
The pope-ular hat?
The pope-ular hat. Yes, that's where we're going. You know what?
He's a
Yeah, it's
man
fine.
of the.
It's fine. They went into detail about how we can lower prices. Enforce undercutting laws that have been around since the 1930s is an excellent place to start.
Oh, they weren't going to do that.
No, but
absolutely
it was
not.
it was a fairly in-depth and very good discussion about those laws and
Yeah.
what they mean, and if people actually adhere to them, how smaller businesses would have a chance against these
Yeah.
big box
It
stores.
was basically explaining how big people in business bully other people.
Yes. And then the last note that I had before the sip count, we all know that Boston Beer has bought even more land in the West End.
Yeah.
They had a couple reckless speculations about what they're going to use that for. So I'm
Reckless
going to ask
speculation.
all of us to say, what is your reckless speculation on what Boston Beer is going to be doing with that space? Marco?
Oh, I didn't know I was
Didn't
going to be
think-
asked this. Okay.
I know.
This is
I'm just
interesting.
I know. Poor Josh. He's like, I don't know.
I think, let's see, if I had to have a reckless speculation guess on what.
Just a guess on what Sam Adams, what Boston Beer is going to be putting in a new plot of land that they recently purchased.
They're going to put in their own distillery
Okay.
because they're going to move the production of the Dogfish Head RTDs there.
Man, you're going way more serious than what I was going to say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And probably a sex shop
Oh, well, all right.
since it's
I,
not far
I
from
mean,
downtown.
This is true. I mean, the Hustler store doesn't exist downtown anymore, does it?
No.
So, I mean, we need
No, wait a
some-
minute,
we need
there is one.
something. Is there still one?
I wouldn't know.
'Cause there was one down
I'm just gonna
7th
say there
Street.
is
There's
one.
one down 7th Street, and there was one where
Is it down the
Duke
street from
Energy-
Knockback Nats?
Yeah. Because it had the big neon sign out
I
front.
believe it's still there.
Okay.
I had a
So-
meeting
so the
downtown,
one-
not
so-
there, but
So the
it's
one
close.
that was by the Duke Energy Center, I think that's the one that
Yeah.
probably closed. You know,
Do we know if that space is production only?
we don't.
The sex shop?
Oh, that's a weird thought.
Technically, yes. We don't know. That's why these are going to be reckless
Right.
speculation.
My thinking is they'll repurpose the current tap room
Mm-hmm.
into a bigger space and then move a full shop into the new area.
Oh, that'd be cool.
Sex shop.
That would be very cool. Sex or otherwise. My reckless speculation is they are going to put in a couple of polo fields so that Jim Cook can finally learn how to play polo
And some poles.
and some poles.
Yeah.
Maybe they just build a giant queue line from one building to the other, and that is the queue line for
Utopia.
Utopias.
Yes,
Yes.
I
Maybe
like the
that's
way
it.
you're thinking.
Yeah.
I like the way you're thinking.
Oh, I like that. That's good.
All right. Any other notes before the sip count?
Now let's go.
All right. Mike took 10 sips this episode. It's
Okay.
hard to take a lot of sips out of a martini glass. They either have to be very tiny
Yeah.
or just a
Big
few.
gulps.
Yes. Brett took 19.
He always has to try and,
I mean, the
assert his dominance on the sips.
The number's lower than it has been, but I feel bad because he had so much pressure.
And then he always just looks straight ahead
at the
while
camera,
Mike is ranting, and then he just blinks.
I'm looking at Julia's notes, and she has M sips and B sips.
Yeah.
I thought those were medium sips and big sips.
Big sips.
Nice.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
The size of the sips for our drinking game, the size of the sip that the people we're talking about take, don't matter. It's a 2-ounce sip for our game, regardless of what it actually is, which just makes it all the more fun.
Yeah.
So this episode of Barstool Perspective from December 13th, there were a total of 29 sips. That's 58 ounces, 3.625 pints in 21 minutes.
Oh, that's
Okay, we could do that.
That's doable.
Whew.
Yeah.
And depends
Catch
on the
me
beer.
next week. We'll have that done.
All right, let's wrap up this show by talking about the 3-hour-long Weekly Pint episode from, as we're recording this last night, episode 240, The Bubble, the restaurant bubble, which he didn't actually sing when he was on camera.
Right.
I'm disappointed. I'm very disappointed. Gnome basically tampered with things that he was told not to tamper with.
Yeah. Well, that's what
Yeah.
he does.
Almost sliced his finger off.
Yep.
Luckily, there was no blood involved, so if you're
Well,
kinda
thank goodness.
squeamish about that kind of thing, you're still safe to watch this episode. There was some taco talk,
Yeah.
pros and cons to tacos.
Yeah.
Do people like tacos? How do people cook their tacos? And
I had
puppies.
tacos before we started.
Very nice.
Got some over there at Tahona.
Wonderful. They make some
They
pretty good
weren't.
tacos. Oh, they weren't? Oh, I'm sorry.
No.
I've always had a good taco experience there, but it could just be either my standards are incredibly low or I just hit them on
Well, they're not
in a
bad.
good moment.
I'm not saying they're bad.
The price to taco ratio is way off.
Yeah.
That is true. That is very, very true.
Yeah.
Went over
That's true.
went over a whole bunch of label approvals, which we've kind of missed for the past few weeks. I think every single person that was watching said that we all need Fruit Blood's mulled wine, so they need to find a way to make that happen and get that into our hands ASAP.
Yeah.
So, Josh from
Josh.
Fruit Blood, you know where to find us, I think, maybe, or
Yeah.
Brett, or Mike, or just anybody.
Anybody.
Find it. and
Anybody.
Get it into our hands now. There was a brief history of the. I don't know how I want to word this. Of going from Rivertown to Wooden Cask. That's all I'll say it.
Well, yes.
Yes.
So there was.
Because
Yeah.
because that can get a little messy depending on how you're looking at it, who you're talking to.
It was a business
what
breakup.
Story. Yes.
So-
And then a breakup, or was it a breakup and then a business breakup? There were all kinds of breakups happening with that situation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
It was a real Ross and Rachel moment.
Wow.
Yes. Oh my God, that's perfect. Yes, they were on a well. Who knows? Reckless speculations. That's how we're going to cover our ass with this one. I did not know that Cincinnati used to be #1 for wine production pre-prohibition.
Shocked
That was
me.
very cool to find out.
Shocked me.
And the skeleton root, which I want to say, I forgot to look this up. I thought they were right down from Northern Row, but maybe they're not. They're bringing back some pre-prohibition grapes to make some of the same wine styles that used to be. And there was discussion, do we actually need that?
Sounds like both a good and a bad idea.
Okay. Rhinegeist is closing, so everyone
Yeah.
needs to panic.
Yeah.
Yes. And that was purely based
It was
off
on
of...
the internet.
It was
on
on
the
the internet.
interwebs.
It was on the
You
internet
saw
for
it
like
on-
5 minutes.
Saw it on a Facebook
Mm-hmm.
post, and then it got put out on,
Yeah.
Reddit and X and
Is
Blue
it-
Sky and
Is it possible
Rumble
that all of the restaurant
and,
closings that we've been having
Tinder.
is what has led to the panic about Rhinegeist closing? Which, guys, if you believe us when we say Rhinegeist is closing, you don't listen.
You don't
I
understand.
don't understand the show.
You don't get it. You don't get this show.
But that did show just how fast misinformation spreads, or just
Yeah.
how fast like a panic over, well, what do you mean? And then instead of questioning it or even going, does that even make sense? It's
Well,
you take it as truth.
I mean,
immediately.
it was the catalyst for it was a business move, and then if for whatever reason, business move sort of doesn't stay on the straight and narrow upward trajectory, if it kind of toggles a little bit, people may think that
Right,
that is a
there's
sign
something
of
nefarious or there- yeah,
the sign of the the apocalypse.
Sure, right.
It's not always the case. Sometimes you got to take a step backward to take, 2 steps forward.
And I feel like even something like this, where it is just one arm of the business, or like an entire restaurant.
They got another arm.
Right.
I mean,
they have plenty. They're octopi. They have lots of arms.
Those are 8 tentacles with an N. Tentacles.
Thank you for clarifying.
Josh.
But there was something interesting.
Tentacle talk.
That Gnome has said multiple times, even about breweries and when they close. Every time one of those doors closes, more opens. So it's not really like a bubble bursting to where all of a sudden there aren't any or many left. It all evens out. It's a scale. Sometimes it might be a little unbalanced while things are in the process.
We are in a little bit of an imbalanced phase.
But not for long, yeah.
If you're talking about the entirety of the U.S. craft beer market, those that are part of the craft beer guild, there is an imbalance towards the opposite direction. However, there are still more openings.
Yeah. Agreed.
Congratulations, Bart Watson, on your promotion.
Yes, we will see what happens there.
Yeah.
Yep.
Because Bob got out.
Yes, which Brett and Mike were very happy about.
Yeah.
Yes. 2 more notes on this episode before the sniff and sip count.
All right.
1, Thunder Lull made an appearance.
Yeah.
Thunder Lull is
Thunder Lull.
That is absolutely fantastic.
And the
Or it's
Thunder
not.
Lulls.
That was absolutely brilliant, Marco. That was fantastic.
Josh liked it, so.
And then you guys talked. So you called in, Marco, and
I
talked
did.
for about 20.
He begged someone to call in.
He did. Yeah. And then you guys ended up talking for 20 minutes on how to make the perfect salad.
We could just these conversations we get into, man, and just we
happens.
just talk.
It's great.
Yeah.
It's not a show, so
Yeah.
it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
As we both take drinks at the same time, so then there's radio silence. It's cool.
Except for that buzzing. Do you hear the little buzzing, slight buzzing?
I do.
All
I
right.
don't know.
It's
It's fine. It's
fine.
All right. The count for this episode. The sniff count, 29. He drank 3
Wow.
beers this episode.
Wow.
That is a record, as was the amount of time that this
You're
episode.
welcome.
It was like just about 2 hours long. 29 sniffs, 17 sips. That's a total of 46 countables. That is 92 ounces or 5.75 pints in roughly 2 hours.
Okay.
So there you go.
That's easily doable.
It is
Yeah.
easily doable, yes.
Yeah.
So everyone, I feel like, hit the
We
mark
agree.
on making the sip count match very respectably with the length of their show's episodes.
Yeah.
And that's I think that's all we got.
I think the 3 and 21 minutes or whatever it was might be pushing it, but
Yeah, maybe.
I've done that before.
It depends. It depends on
Younger
the beer.
days.
Yeah.
Younger
it depends on the
days.
beers. It's possible. It's just not a great idea.
Yeah.
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 So, Marco, you have a birthday stuff to
Yeah.
get to.
Can we give the listeners a little bit of an expectation as far as
Yes, the next 2 weeks.
we are
Yes.
going to, our plan is to record,
Yes.
unless we get taken away by drones or aliens.
Yes, which is entirely possible anymore.
Who knows?
Yeah.
I mean, anything's possible.
Anything's possible. Anything is possible.
Could
So
float
the
away
next-
with a mermaid or a merman. You never know. You never know.
So the next 2 weeks, because next week is Christmas already. The week after is New Year's Eve, and we are not going to record and then try to drive around on Christmas Eve or New Year's Eve.
No.
Absolutely not.
We're old enough to know that's a bad idea.
So we are going to record on Mondays, and that might mess up what shows are available for us to talk about. And
Probably.
there might not be shows to talk about, but we have
might not be.
plans on things that we are going to discuss.
Yes.
So you still get Marco and I and anyone who wants to come and sit down with us in all of our glory.
Yep.
So you have nothing to worry about because it has been over 3 years. It's been, what episode are we recording right now? It has been 177 weeks and we have not missed one yet.
Nope.
So why the hell start now?
That's right.
Yeah.
I agree. The same comment I remember, and I probably mentioned this before. Saturday Night Live, right after 9/11, they were not going to do a show, and then they decided to do a show, and the Lauren Michaels was asked, "But can we be funny?" And he said, "Why start now?"
Yeah,
And
excellent.
that's the point. Why start
start
now?
now?
Both on
Absolutely.
missing a show and being funny.
Yep. One of these days we might be.
We God.
Well, why start now?
Yeah, why start now? We put some effort into it.
It could happen.
Maybe.
All right. Well, Josh, thank you so much for joining us tonight.
It's great to have you.
It's always great to have you just sitting here and just giving the puns that make me almost spit my beer out across the table. I can't thank you.
He was working on it.
I pride myself on that.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. If you like what we've done tonight, do all the things you know you should do, like review, subscribe, share, follow. Check out our other podcast, Cincy Beer Events, where we give you all of the beer events happening in and around the greater Cincinnati area. And if you want to know about beer events, but listening to us read them on a podcast isn't your thing, I have a solution for you. Go to truthbeerpod.com. You'll find links to absolutely everything we do, from both of our podcasts to our Patreon, where you get unedited episodes where all I cut out are the silences if we take a break. But most importantly, you can sign up for the mailing list to get the Cincy Beer Events list sent directly to your inbox, and that includes the links to the Facebook event pages, links for where to buy tickets. So it's a one-stop shop for everything you need to go to these events. With that being said, Marco, Josh, what are you going to be doing next
I think
Monday?
we just told everybody.
I think we just told, yeah, that's true.
I'll be here doing this.
We'll
Cheers,
see ya.
everyone.
Cheers.
Cheers.